Stakelbeck on terror. Well, missiles are flying in the Middle East. Old regimes are toppling and radical Islamic regimes are coming to the forefront. And Israel is in the crosshairs. So what does it all mean? Does an ancient Bible prophecy open a window into what is coming in the Middle East? I'm joined this week for part 2 of my conversation with Bill Salus, author of the groundbreaking new book, Psalm 83, The Missing Prophecy Revealed. What is coming in the Middle East? Take a look. Give us a brief overview of Psalm 83, what it says, and the nations involved.
Absolutely. Psalm 83, an ancient Hebrew prophecy written 3,000 years ago by Asaph, the seer, also meaning the prophet, talks about a climactic concluding Arab-Israeli war, a confederacy of 10 ancient populations whose modern-day equivalents today would be Lebanon, where the Hezbollah are, Syria and Iraq, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, the Hamas in Philistia, and the Palestinian refugees would be in there too. And it seems to actually be bannering the plight of the Palestinian refugees. And what do they want to do? They want to have the pastures of God for themselves as a possession. Psalm 83, verse 12, that's what it says. They want another Arab state, Eric. And if it were to happen today, the understanding would be they don't want peace with the Jews. They want peace without the Jews. They don't want a two-state solution. They want one more Arab state, and they would want to call it Palestine. Now, those are the countries in this confederacy. They come together. Their mandate is clear. They say in Psalm 83, verse 4, let us cut them off from being a nation that the name Israel may be remembered no more.
They talk about wiping Israel off the map, Bill, which obviously has a eerie parallel to today and Israel's enemies. So we have the Psalm 83 confederacy coming against Israel, Bill, in the last days, which I think you and I both believe are coming rapidly.
Absolutely.
So we hear a lot about, though, Ezekiel 38, 39, and that invasion force of Israel. Our good friend Joel Rosenberg has written some books about it. So what is the difference between the Psalm 83 war and the Ezekiel 38, 39 war, the war of Gog and Magog?
Yes, absolutely. Ezekiel 38 and 39 is, let's start there, Eric. It's a very important prophecy. It looks so near. You've got Russia and Iran involved, and their relationships, as you know, are very strong, never been stronger. Russia's been involved in their nuclear program. You've got Turkey's involved in that, and you know, Prime Minister Erdogan, he has got an enmity toward Israel now. You know, ever since that Mavi memorial. I mean, there's all so many reasons to think that prophecy is definitely stage setting for a nearby fulfillment. But as we pointed out briefly in the last show, you've got different things going on between Psalm 83 and Ezekiel 38. Psalm 83 is 10 populations sharing common borders with Israel. I listed who they were just a moment ago. Ezekiel 38 is 9 different populations that are like an outer ring versus Psalm 83 being an inner circle. And they don't share any common borders with Israel. You know, Russia, Turkey, Iran, Libya, southern steppes of Russia, just to name a few of them. But they're around that area, but they're nowhere near. And they've got to come across the Psalm 83 territories. Now, I personally put Psalm 83 first. Now, Psalm 83, some of the distinctions, and I'll tell you why I put it first. Psalm 83 is dealt with by the Israeli Defense Forces. I point out in the book how the Israeli Defense Forces exist in fulfillment of Bible prophecy. Psalm 83, the mandate is to take over the Promised Land, have another Arab state, probably the one called Palestine. The different populations we talked about. Whereas Ezekiel 38, different populations, it's the Lord who defeats that, not the Israeli Defense Forces. Ezekiel 39, Ezekiel 38 verse 16 through Ezekiel 39, 6 clearly tells us it's a divine. The Lord stops at fire and brimstone. It's an Old Testament defeat. And their goal is not to take the land. See, a different goal, a different mandate, and that is to take plunder and spoil and great booty. Now, in just a nutshell, I want to tell you why I don't believe Ezekiel 38 and 39 is next. I think Psalm 83 is. Ezekiel 38 talks about in verses 7 through 13 that the Jews must be brought back to Israel in the last days, out from the nations, dwell in the midst of the land, but they must dwell securely, without walls, bars, nor gates, and they must have great plunder and booty, because that's what Russia comes after. And Eric, Israel is not dwelling securely right now by any stretch of the imagination because of the Psalm 83 countries, for one.
On its immediate borders?
Immediate borders. But when Psalm 83 is over and Israel pushes out with its elbows, they can dwell securely. They can tear down that wall that 403-mile wall, partition wall between the West Bank and Israel, separating Palestinian terror out. They could dwell securely without walls, bars, nor gates. They're becoming a very wealthy, prosperous country, but they can actually take over Arab spoils of war as well.
After that Psalm 83 victory, they will take the spoils of war.
Absolutely. The Hebrew word in Ezekiel 38:13 about the spoil, the great spoil, is shalal, and it really means like spoil from the despoil. So in other words, spoil that maybe is taken from the Psalm 83 countries. But of course, as you know, being over in Israel, Israel is becoming a very prosperous country.
It very much is, Bill. That's a great point. I mean, the natural gas finds, obviously, the high-tech boom in Israel. And Israel, to a great extent, was not affected by that great global economic meltdown that began in the fall of 2008, which is very interesting, I think.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I think they're very powerful prophecies. I think Psalm 83 is about to happen. These are world changers. And there's peripheral prophecies around them. Isaiah 17, the destruction of Damascus. Isaiah 19, I hope we can talk about Egypt today.
We are going to, absolutely.
And there's some other peripheral prophecies that happen in and around them. And Eric, when these prophecies happen, I think the analogy that Christ gave in Matthew 24, they'll be like birth pangs. End times prophecies will be like birth pangs. One will happen and another will happen soon and sequentially afterwards, like a woman about to give labor. When that baby is about to crown, when Jesus is about to return and set up his messianic kingdom, the baby comes out, the birth canal, and the contractions become more intense and they become more frequent, and you cannot hold them back.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Bill, on the prophetic timeline, does Psalm 83 occur before the 7-year tribulation?
I believe both Psalm 83 and Ezekiel 38 occur before. And the way I answer that question is I say, well, Ezekiel 38, let's start there. Because if Psalm 83 precedes Ezekiel 38, and we can demonstrate that Ezekiel 38 happens before the tribulation, obviously so does Psalm 83. Ezekiel 38, we're told in Ezekiel 39, actually, as we get more details about the aftermath of the Ezekiel invasion. You have the Israelis are actually converting fuel. It says they're burning the weapons for 7 years.
Of those invading Ezekiel armies.
Yeah, and you can imagine, you know, the kind of weaponry that they're going to bring forward. You know, it could be the ABCs, atomic, biological, you know, all the chemicals. Who knows what they're going to bring at them. But Israel's going to have the know-how to convert them into fuel. For 7 years, we're given a specific time of 7 years. Now, when someone understands the 7-year tribulation period, it's really broken up into two spots, two segments. The first 3.5 years, Israel finds itself dwelling in a condition that they feel of peace. False peace really is what it is, but the Israelis could certainly burn weapons in that 3.5 years. But Jesus even says in Matthew 24, verses 15, that when the Antichrist goes into the third Jewish temple, which they will be built by that time, and he does the abomination of desolation as spoken by Daniel, Jesus warns the people in Israel to flee to the mountains, which we would say would probably be the southern Jordan, Petra area.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, just do it immediately, because the Antichrist starts a genocidal campaign against the Jewish people. And then sadly, it says in Zechariah 13:8 that 2/3 of the people of the Jews in the land will be cut off. It's going to be bad. But I want to say this, in that second half, the Jews are instructed to flee, not stop and convert fuel and burn weapons. So I think you could have the commencement, the conclusion of Ezekiel 38, 3.5 years before the tribulation. They could burn weapons for 3.5 years. They could burn weapons 3.5 years into the tribulation, but they're probably not going to burn weapons in the second half. So I believe Psalm 83 precedes Ezekiel 38, and Ezekiel 38 precedes the tribulation. That's one of the reasons.
Amazing how the timing all lines up too, Bill. And ladies and gentlemen, I have to say, you're hearing Bill Salas right now just offer you this profound prophetic insight. Pick up his book, Psalm 83, The Missing Prophecy Revealed. Like I said in the last show, this had a real effect on my thinking and my view of Bible prophecy and what's coming very soon. Also, while you're at it, pick up his books, Israelistine and Revelation Road, also must-reads. And if you missed episode 1 of my interview here with Bill, go to cbnnews.com, go to the Stakelbeck on Terror blog, and you can watch it there. That said, Bill, let's move on now to Egypt and Egypt's prophetic role. Right now, obviously, Egypt is in, I believe, the process of becoming an Islamic state governed by Sharia, governed by the Muslim Brotherhood. I believe they will break that peace treaty with Israel. What is coming for Egypt prophetically?
Well, Egypt, actually, the Bible talks about several important things for Egypt. And let's not underestimate. There's an adage that says, as goes Egypt, so goes the whole Middle East. Egypt presently is the largest populated Arab Muslim state in the world. And they've got about 80 million Egyptians there. But Egypt has a lot written about it in Bible prophecy and its future. So Egypt actually goes from the condition of being the #1 Arab populated country in the world with a world ranked army of number 16 among all world armies. The closest one next to it in the Psalm 83 rankings would be Saudi Arabia. They're ranked number 26. But Egypt actually goes, we're told in Ezekiel 29, I think it's verse 15, that they go from being what they are now to the lowliest kingdom of all kingdoms in the world. And so Egypt is looking at this period of time of the Muslim Brotherhood now, where they're going to try to make their moves over there. I agree with you. They're going to try to liberate the Gaza. They're going to try to form a United Arab States. This is all part of the political campaign
caliphate
of Mohammed Morsi. They're going to try to implement Sharia law. I mean, let's just look at their credos, the Muslim Brotherhood. Do we have time for this?
Well, we're going to hit it, Bill, right after this commercial break. Much more coming up with Bill Salas on Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood, and what's next for America. Where is our role in Bible prophecy? Stay tuned. Much more with Bill Salas. Don't move.
Today we're on a field trip to discover what inflation is doing to our paper money. In this hand is a $20 bill, and in this hand is a $20 US gold coin. They used to have the same buying power, but how much can they buy today? In this first basket is what my $20 bill buys: milk, bread, peanut butter, and jelly. And here's what one $20 gold coin will buy: 6 baskets full, worth nearly $2,000, almost 100 times more food, simply by owning gold dollars instead of paper dollars. History shows that the gold coins have been the best way to beat the rising cost of living. So class, the moral is that unless you want to live on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the future, you should turn some paper dollars into gold coins now. How and why is explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. Call the number below for a totally free copy. And that's the simple truth.
Help!
If an emergency happened right now, you can have help at the push of a button with Medical Alert.
Remember when I took that fall, Mary?
Oh, yes, that was terrible.
Yes, it was. Help! And I thought, what if you hadn't been there? I ordered my Medical Alert the next day.
I can't describe how safe I feel now with my Medical Alert. You didn't know I was wearing it, did you?
Medical Alert is easy to install, waterproof, and covers you inside your home and out.
It helps me feel safe from fires, break-ins.
And of course, a Medical Alert. And if you don't have a home phone, don't worry. They have that covered.
There's always help at the push of a button. Don't wait till you need it.
Get Medical Alert for less than $1 a day. There are no long-term contracts. Order now and get your second button free. Call for your free brochure.
For your free medical alert system with second button free, call 800-575-8507.
And welcome back. We're talking to Bill Salas, author of Psalm 83, The Missing Prophecy Revealed. And Bill, before the commercial break, we were talking about Egypt and the role of this new Muslim Brotherhood government in Psalm 83 in Bible prophecy. Continue, please, with what you were saying.
Well, I think the Muslim Brotherhood is certainly who we have to watch. They are going to be a real big power to reckon with. I know you're writing about this in your new book, and I'm excited to hear it. They've been repressed for about 50 years, and now it's their time in the sun to make their move, and I believe they're going to start to move quite rapidly real soon. And I was about to echo the credos of the Muslim Brotherhood, just so the audience can really understand what they believe about. And this is something you can find on their website. It says, Islam is the solution. Allah is the objective. The Quran is our law. Muhammad is our leader. Jihad is our way, and death for Allah is our highest aspiration. Now remember, that sounds almost quite a bit like the Hamas, some of the tenets in the Hamas Charter.
Almost identical.
Yeah, the Hamas were founded by the Muslim Brotherhood.
They are the Muslim Brotherhood. They are the Palestinian branch of the Brotherhood, Bill, absolutely.
1987, and in 1988 they came out with their charter. And that charter says that Israel will exist, just one of the three of the tenets I'll list. Israel will exist until Islam will obliterate it. 2, the land of Palestine, which is what they call it, they don't recognize Israel's right to exist, will be consecrated to future Muslim generations until Judgment Day. And 3, there is only one solution to resolve the conflict, and that is what, Eric? Land for peace deals?
Bill, that would be jihad.
Jihad, that's exactly
violent
it.
jihad and pushing Israel into the sea.
Absolutely. So the Muslim Brotherhood we need to watch for. Mohammed Morsi was making really big moves really quick. But right now, there's a little calm before the storm we talked about as we tape these shows. That could change at any given minute. But Mohammed Morsi is trying to bring in funds. He's got $20 billion promised to him from Qatar. He's got $1.5 billion coming from America. He's got
From America.
From America.
A sworn enemy of America is getting $500 million from America. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the International Monetary Fund is looking at a $4.8 billion loan. If they get that, the EU will put forward a $5 billion loan. Saudi Arabia has pledged $3.75 billion. Turkey has pledged $2 billion. The catch to this is Mohammed Morsi cannot have violent protests in Tahrir Square because those monies could be withheld from him. But once he gets those monies, it's almost $38.5 billion when you add it all together, which is going to be more than Mubarak probably could have ever dreamed of in his heyday. And by the way, Standard & Poor's recently downgraded at the end of 2012 the credit rating of Egypt from a B to a B-, which puts it on even par with Greece. So you're looking at Egypt in dire economic issues, which now takes us into some prophecies.
Egypt, you write about in the book, Bill, Egypt, desolation, judgment coming, will be governed by a cruel master. We're about to head to the commercial, but in about 30 seconds, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, absolutely. There's actually 3 judgments that befall Egypt. One was past in the Babylonian Empire in 568 BC. The other is present, and that's what we'll probably try to talk about after the break. The other is the future. Actually, the Antichrist in Daniel 11, verses 42 and 43, will be coming into Egypt, and he will decimate Egypt. And there will be 40 years of desolation in the land, 40 years of deportation of the Egyptians out of the land, but there'll be a conversion, Eric. The good news is there'll be an Egyptian remnant that comes into the kingdom.
We'll talk about that more after the break. Much more with Bill Salus, author of Psalm 83, The Missing Prophecy Revealed. Stay tuned.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
And welcome back. We're talking to Bible prophecy expert Bill Salus about Psalm 83, Egypt, the future of America. But Bill, before the break, we were talking about Egypt. Judgment coming. Egypt handed over to a cruel master, the Bible says. Could that be the Muslim Brotherhood?
I think it really could. You know, we were talking about before the break a past, present, and future judgment. Let's talk about the present judgment. Egypt involves itself in Psalm 83. Now, in Isaiah 19, I think we have a connecting peripheral prophecy that fits with Psalm 83 for their involvement. It says in verse 1, the Lord flies into Egypt on a judgment on a swift cloud. So when the judgment comes on Egypt, it's going to happen swiftly. And I'm going to tell you a sequence of events that deteriorate in Egypt quickly, and then I'm going to tell you why. First thing it says, and this will sound eerily reminiscent of the Arab Spring. It says when he flies in, Egyptian will be, I'll set Egyptian against Egyptian, brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. So what you have going on there in that verse 2 is you have a civil strife for some reason. It burgeons into a civil war. It goes into a kingdom against kingdom conflict, which is a regional conflict. And I would say that would probably be Psalm 83, Eric. Okay, then it goes on to talk about Egypt will be given over to a cruel master. A harsh ruler will rule over them, a dictator, a new pharaoh perhaps, like we saw the uncomplimentary term given to Mohammed Morsi when he declared authority over the executive, judicial, and legislative branches in November of 2012.
Moving very quickly is the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt.
He could very well be this, and I'll tell you why. We don't know yet why this judgment's coming upon Egypt, but we see that what's happening is that there's a civil strife, goes into civil war, into a regional conflict, a Muslim Brotherhood, perhaps cruel dictator comes into power. Then you have a total collapse of Egypt's economy, in verses 5 through 10. I mean, the fishing industry, the textile industry. It says in verse 10, all who make wages will be troubled of soul. Throw in the tourist industry, okay?
Which is huge and which is taking a dent since
Oh,
the
it's a
brother
problem
came to
right
power.
now.
Yeah,
Who
it
wants
is.
to go to Egypt right now? I mean, it's a real problem. Then you've got the next 5 verses talk about a total religious collapse. They go to their counselors, their clerics. Why is this happening to Egypt? They have no answers. Well, we know because the Lord flew in on a swift cloud. But the Lord doesn't randomly levy judgments on countries. God sent Jesus to die for our sins. He's a loving God. But we get the clue now in verses 16, 17, and 18 of Isaiah 19. It says, in that day, in what day, Eric? The day that the Lord judges Egypt, when there is a civil strife, civil war, regional conflict, with a cruel master, with an economic collapse, with a religious collapse. In that day, Egypt is fearful of Judah like a woman in labor. Oh, something to do with Israel. Is the cruel leader dragging the Egyptians into a war with Israel? Verse 17. And Egypt, that fear will burgeon into a terror of Israel.
Terrified of Israel.
Terror of Israel. Now, I would tell you that fear and that terror of Israel has never existed until the wars of 1948, 1967, and 1973. These are the days of that terror. Now, what's happening is that's why they have a peace treaty with Egypt, with Israel. They don't want another war, a lot of those people, and you've got Coptic Christians in Egypt, etc. So is this cruel leader going to lead them into the war of Psalm 83? And is that why civil strife goes out of control and people get very concerned?
You know, there's leadership in America right now, Bill, bringing it back to our hemisphere, that a lot of people have questions about, a lot of Christians, Bible believers have questions about. Where is America in prophecy? Do you see America in prophecy? You touch on this in your must-read book, Psalm 83. We're talking about Egypt, Israel, all of these countries in the Middle East. How about us? People are probably saying, well, what about us? We're the greatest superpower in the world, right? Where do you see America?
Well, you know, this is a very important topic, and, you know, the concerns are it is difficult to find American Bible prophecy. I devote 2 chapters in the book to America, what is the future for American Bible prophecy, and the second chapter, what is America's role in Psalm 83. There are many people who don't think that America is in Bible prophecy, or that if it is, it's not the same superpower status that we've grown up to know and love. What happens? And I agree with that assessment, Eric. And I present the 6 different places where people think America is in the Bible, and I won't have time to go through them, but they're in the book. I personally think we could be in there in Ezekiel 38, where it says the merchants of Tarshish and their young lions. Okay? Someone is going to be wanting to conduct commerce with Israel when they have plunder and great booty. That's what Russia and Iran and them are coming after in Ezekiel 38. Who are those merchants that want to have commerce with them?
They're protesting the invasion.
Yeah, so there's different thoughts of who Tarshish is, and then their young lions would be the colonizations from whoever Tarshish is. We're told in Jonah 1:3 that Jonah set sail from Joppa to Tarshish, which is the furthermost part of the Western world, which some people say could have been Spain on through the South America, but the other arguments is to the UK, which would put America as the young lions.
We're going to come back with Bill Salas wrapping up. Stay tuned.
An important message for those who have currently applied or are thinking about applying for a reverse mortgage. You've probably seen commercials with famous actors talking about reverse mortgages, telling you how you can eliminate your monthly mortgage payment, still own your home, and live the life of your dreams. Well, most of that is true, but you need the facts. Call now for our 7 Secrets of Reverse Mortgages. This simple-to-read brochure includes information about possible hidden fees, which program benefits you and not the bank, and how to negotiate better terms. We'll give you facts that are easy to understand. You'll learn about the 5 most misleading claims that some lenders make. For example, that you can't lose your home with a reverse mortgage. The fact is, foreclosure may occur if you live somewhere other than the home for a period of time, or you fail to pay real estate taxes or insurance. You need to call to get the facts. Operators are standing by.
Call 1-888-842-6237 or visit our website now.
When you're driving along and your cell phone rings, do your eyes instantly go off the road? Then you need to get a grip. Hi, David Jones here with the new Grip Go, the most versatile hands-free mount that will instantly grip any phone for safe driving. Just attach the suction cup to your windshield or dash, and Grip Go grabs your phone ultra fast. Then it peels right off. And don't worry, there's no sticky residue left behind. The 360-degree pivoting mount allows you to always get the perfect viewing angle. It's even strong enough to grab and hold this expensive smartphone out the window. Yet it comes right off with ease. That's the advantage of Grip Go. You can get the amazing Grip Go with dashboard mount for only $14.95. We'll send you a second kit free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get 2 complete Grip Go systems for just $14.95.
To order Grip Go for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-709-5259 or order online at getgripgo.com.
And welcome back. We're wrapping up with Bible prophecy expert Bill Salas. Bill, we're talking about this heavy subject matter, obviously, war, a coming war in the Middle East. We don't even know where America quite falls in this prophetic scheme. Give some words of encouragement, if you can, for our audience, for an American audience.
Yes, absolutely, Eric. America is a wonderful country. It was established by God to be a safe haven for the Jewish people. That's why we have 5 million Jewish people living here. Second closest country is France at 483,000. Of course, Israel has just eclipsed it with 6 million. But we were also called to be a beacon of Christianity to the world and preach the gospel out to the world. And those callings have not ceased. We still need to be the light to the world out there. It's a dark world out there right now. America is hard to find in the Bible. I point this out in the book. And if it is, it's probably not the same America that beautiful and bountiful that we know and love. Something probably does happen. But we still have a charge to go out and reach out and let people know about the love of Jesus. You know, the God of money has failed this country in 2007, and everybody's hoping we'll be able to have economic prosperity again. But, you know, we have to put our hope in Jesus Christ, and that's a central theme of this book, Eric.
Oh, what a way to close it, my friend. The book is Psalm 83, The Missing Prophecy Revealed. Pick it up. Good luck with the book. Groundbreaking, Psalm 83. Until next week from Stakelbeck on Terror, take care, and God bless.